We're at St. Mary's Falls today. Today we're on the east side of Logan Pass. Heading down.
Per hour. And I was driving the Little Chief that day, the like smaller historic vessel. I think it's out right now. But we came around this corner and there were like 4-foot waves on the lake. So the waves were literally splashing over the bow. And people on board were kind of freaking out. So I was like, yeah, this is totally normal. Which in that case was a complete lie. So, sorry if that hurts my credibility. People were kind of freaking out. So I was like, yeah, this is totally normal. Which in that case was a complete lie. So, sorry if that hurts my credibility. So that was back in 2015, and that was called the Reynolds Creek Fire, and it was the most expensive wildfire in glacier history. So in 24 hours it burned from up past the head of the lake through a lot of what you can see. So burned over 2,000 acres in the first 24 hours, and then burned just about 5,000 acres in 48 hours. The lake stays really, really cold. The average is around 48 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer, so it's fed by 5 glaciers, so constantly replenished with that really cold water. And interestingly, when lake trout are in really cold, really fresh conditions, they actually don't have a definitive lifespan, so it slows down their aging process. And especially since this lake is so deep, as those trout are getting older and bigger, they can just go deeper and deeper in colder and colder water, which kind of preserves them. And so about 10 years ago, we had some divers diving off of Sun Point, and they found a series of caves underneath Sun Point there in that limestone layer. And they went in those caves to explore, and then quickly came back to the surface and said that they had seen lake trout that were over 6 feet long. It's called Going to the Sun Mountain, and that is the tallest peak in this valley. That's 9,600 feet tall, and that is where the road got its name, because it kind of wraps around that mountain. Geology. The glacier was formed in a 3-step process. The first step is sedimentation. The second step is uplift. And does anyone have a guess of what that third step is? The deeper you go, the older the rock gets, because having the west side slide on top of the east side exposed all this 1.5 billion year old rock and buried rock beneath us that is 1 billion years younger, undergoing ice age cycles. So about every 100,000 years or so, we'll get these big glacial maximums. And to give you all some perspective of how big the glaciers were here in the park during the last glacial maximum, imagine the entire lake is frozen completely through, and then that ice continues all the way to the summits of some of the peaks. So we're sitting here at about 4,500 feet in elevation, and the average height of the peaks around this valley is around 9,000 feet tall. So in some places, the glaciers here were over 4,000 feet thick, which is incredibly hard to imagine after those massive prehistoric glaciers that carved this entire landscape of colors, which I think is really cool. The ridgeline up there at the head of the valley splits the watersheds of the nation. So any drop of water that falls to the west side of those peaks will go to the Pacific Ocean through the Columbia River. And then here on the east side, we have a 2-way split. So St. Mary Lake and all of the valleys to the north of us will drain to the north into Canada and eventually to the Hudson Bay. And then all of the valleys to the south of us will drain to the south to the Gulf of Mexico. So
I didn't know glacier got sours.
So we just got off the boat. To the waterfall. everywhere you look, it's another beautiful view.
It's shining the sky all yeah.
Did you find a perfect craft?
No.
Not yet?
Got a few things along the way, but otherwise keep asking questions. Want to hear what you all are interested in. If you have any like hike recommendations or want food recommendations, anything like that, happy to talk about whatever.
How about whitefish for dinner?
Yeah, the question is about whitefish for dinner. This place called Tupelo. It's this really good like Italian grill, and they often have like live music in there as well. So it's a really nice restaurant. I really like the looks of the Many Glacier Hotel. It's got this like Swiss architecture. It's right on the Swift Current Lake there, so it's really, really beautiful. And so that's a fun place to hang out at or stay.
Well, we're coming into Many Glacier now. We're loving it.
You would have shown up on horseback. Probably windblown, dusty, tired, hot, sweaty, sore in places you didn't know you could be. And then you walk into this beautiful hotel. While we walk to our next stop, I would love for you all to think about what amenities would you have hoped for upon your arrival that were used as reference pictures when they were designing this hotel. How sunny it is, guys.
Very short amount of time. It's lovely. Nice place to sit and enjoy the view. Definitely out of the wind and cold. You can come here and sit by the cozy fire.
Enjoy your summer.
Well, we arrived at the East Glacier Lodge. It is worth stopping to see. We had a beautiful time here and a wonderful dinner. We suggest coming here to check it out. It's another beautiful part of the lodge. Sit here and take in the view.
All the way to the red line. Turn around.
This is the Amtrak station located in East Glacier. Take the Amtrak to this spot, and then they have a vehicle that takes you over to the hotel. Just saw it go by, but I didn't have a chance to get a video of it. And the Amtrak train is at the station. This is it. It has nice windows, and it has a very scenic trip through the Rocky Mountains and out west. It goes all the way to Seattle, and it would be a very enjoyable way to travel, especially for me, because I love to take the train. This is the station. It's very cute, very historical. This is where so many people have come in to East Glacier before cars and boats and things like that have come around.